So it's been about 25 minutes. I did go ahead and already kind of pre-rinse all of the bleach out. You guys are able to see just how nice and natural everything looks. If you decide that you don't want to pluck this, you absolutely don't have to. I can totally see where they faded everything nice and beautifully, but in this tutorial I want to show you a very detailed way of how to kind of like tweeze your frontal and get it to look a lot more natural. This looks really good though, I will say that. So if you're a beginner and you're kind of new to this and you have already watched the how to bleach the knots, that very detailed video, this video is really gonna amp up your wig style. So I'm gonna go ahead and quickly just shampoo and condition this, and then we'll get on to the plucking. Look at that freaking melt. Oh my god. I know I did a really quick kind of run through on the bleach, so if for any reason you need it to be even more detailed, definitely make sure to check out the other video. Alright babes, so this is where we're going to get into the plucking, right? So everybody knows most units don't come pre-plucked. You do have a lot of companies that are offering pre-plucked, and of course that's always great, but if that does not happen and you see yourself buying a unit that's going to come and you're going to have to kind of customize it, I definitely recommend tweezing out just a little bit of the hair and kind of creating a custom hairline. And so this is what I'm going to do for you today. Now we have two choices. You could go ahead and begin the tweezing on the mannequin head, or you can use your handy dandy knee. In this case, I'm actually going to do something a little different, and I'm actually going to do this on my knee, and I'm going to show you why in a second. So typically, if you are going to be tweezing on the mannequin head, it can be a little bit uncomfortable when you're going to start to kind of pluck at a diagonal motion, right? Here in the center, it's usually pretty straightforward. But when you get to the sides, unless you literally tilt your mannequin head over, it's really kind of hard to stay consistent when it comes to kind of like tweezing this out with every other strand or every couple of strands and keeping that consistency when you're doing it on the mannequin head. So for example, if I got to this side, right, you may think, it might be kind of easy to do it here, but what I found is sometimes I'm a little bit heavy-handed, so instead of starting that process from here, sometimes I'll turn the actual mannequin head towards me, and then I'm able to get typically a better stroke, right? So this is the motion we're going to be going in. You need you a tweezer, right? So the tweezer that I'm using is a diagonal, kind of like angled tweezer, I would say. You can find this pretty much anywhere. I'll go ahead and add it to my Amazon store for any of you that are gonna pretty much need that. So I want to show you really quickly what it looks like to actually tweeze here, and then of course here. Starting from this side, typically I usually like to kind of just have the hair parted off, like one left side, one right side, and then I'll kind of go from there, right? So I'm just going to start here on the side. I usually like to part out about an inch of hair, right? So then from here I'm kind of like, all right, what does this part of the hairline looks like? Is everything kind of already fading out naturally, or do I kind of need to begin lightly tweezing and kind of fading everything backward? In this case, I can see that the hair is really thick and full. Can you guys see that? There you go. I can see that the hair is like super full. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is begin tweezing out this way. And then I will add another layer here. And you guys will kind of see that process. Alright, so just so that you guys can kind of see what it is that I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and take a little strand here. And I'm going to kind of tilt this mannequin head so you guys can kind of see a little bit. So there is a track directly behind here, right? But I'm still just gonna tweeze out just a couple of hairs, just a few, And you guys can see I'm not going in the same place more than once. I'm actually looking for any knots that may be a little bit darker, right? And maybe they didn't get properly bleached, but they can actually go. So I'm looking for those. Then I'm gonna part out a little bit more hair, and I like to just kind of go row by row because you get to really see the blend as you kind of build it up. I call this kind of like sitting behind it, right? Because the thing is, if you are literally on the opposite side, you are gonna be at more of a slant, right? And even sometimes I'll even go forward, right? From this point. And I'll just take out a couple, being very careful not to touch this part of the hairline. So as opposed to doing it that way, I highly recommend going backward because at least you can see that fade and build it up, as opposed to going here, kind of cutting into it. You won't really know what you have until you flip it back, and it might be too late. Then we're gonna take out another strand. And I'm just like picking every other one. If I see any one spot that looks a little too thick, I'm lightly going in and kind of just like getting rid of it. And you actually can hold it back into like a tight pony so you can really see what it's doing. Because I've learned that doing this process wet, sometimes you don't get as much hair out as you may have needed to. And already we're starting to kind of get a more natural feel. I like to kind of tug on it a little bit just so that I can clearly see just how it would look if it was pulled up, if it was going to be braided, just, you know, once the hairline is fully styled, that whole thing. You don't want to over tweeze it though. So nice. Look at that fade. So good. Look at that. And of course, because we do have that track here, you still want to check for the fade though, right? Because obviously nobody's gonna part their hair this far down, but you may do a side part, right? So when you do that, you at least want to make sure whatever's pulled back is still gonna kind of match and mimic what's happening here. And if you guys have not already, definitely make sure to check out how to do the jet black watercolor method, and then also the how to bleach knots, because you guys can see the knots on this unit look really, really good. That jet black really helped kind of give that transition, and you will not need a wig cap with this. And then last little area, I'm gonna go ahead and split this into two and really kind of get a feel for what that looks like. So I know that it's still kind of on the heavy side for me, so I'm actually going to kind of take out a little bit here, and then eventually we'll do the same there. And you guys can see any of those areas that just kind of look crowded, I'm just kind of breaking it up. So it already kind of has that movement, you can see. And then go ahead and brush the hair back, and you'll be able to see and already really have a great idea of what everything's gonna look like. This is kind of where you get to decide how much hair do you want to take out to really kind of fade this out. So from here, all that we're gonna do is pretty much just kind of fade this out just a little bit more to my liking, and then of course, yeah, we'll be ready for installation and then that final look. Alright babes, so as you guys can see, we have completely customized this side, right? So I did it on the mannequin head just so that you guys can kind of learn and, you know, learn to sit behind it. So if you're one of those people that are plucking from this way and you're trying to figure out why it never turns out right on both sides, just turn the mannequin head around and I promise you it'll make all of the difference. If you can get right behind it, up on that hairline, you can see exactly what it is that you're doing. So yeah, I can't wait to install this because I already can tell from here that it's just gonna flow so nice and natural. Everything is still full. Each layer is still full, but it's now tweezed out to where it'll look like just individual strands. Whereas this one is a lot thicker, fuller. You can kind of see more of a squared hairline, which is fine, but my hair is not that thick. None of the wigs that I wear, I don't really enjoy super thick hairlines. So yeah, again, I'm gonna go ahead and tweeze this out just a bit. And then I'm gonna do this on the kneecap. Now, this is where this little foam kind of wig, I don't know, protector comes in handy. I'm actually going to place it on the inside of the wig cap and then clip it in. And what that does is give me full visibility to the entire hairline so that I can easily tweeze it out. You guys can see the difference here. And what I was saying about the hairline. So you guys can see just how like faded it is. You guys can see how full this side is, and then we're just gonna bleed it to get it to fade like this. So, all right. And try not to overkill in the middle area just because most hairlines are a little bit fuller around here and it kind of thins out by the temple a little bit. So we kind of want to just match that. So just to be safe. Gonna go ahead and just kind of split this into two just to be safe. I do want to take a second look at it. I love this little tweezer because it actually comes with like a comb. Alright babe, so that is pretty much it. That's how I customize a hairline. If you want, I do see some spots where I would probably go over with just a little bit of the black rinse or some black dye just to like kind of brush through it and rinse it out real quick type of thing. But yeah, I would kind of go over some areas there just to really perfect it. But you guys, in love, everything looks super nice. So cute. So if you wanted to put this up, do half up, half down, all that good stuff, you have plenty of options available. Definitely let me know what you guys think about this down below. I love you guys so much. Stay pretty. I'll definitely be sure to insert a clip of how everything looked in the end. But yeah, leave any comments or questions down below. Love you so much. Stay pretty. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, babies.